Hello and welcome to the Money Tree. Two Indian states are at war with the union government on how to earn and spend money. One is Kerala and the other is Rajasthan, both ruled by opposition parties. We start with Kerala. Kerala is a place which is distinct from other places. It's way ahead of other states in literacy, health, education, policing and many more. And they are compared with European nations in social welfare measures. Of course, with its own problems. The industrial growth and job opportunities are not very impressive. They borrow a lot of money like many other states of the country. What happened recently was that the borrowing limit of the government of Kerala was slashed drastically by the union government by more than 50%. After granting permission to borrow rupees 32,442 crore for this financial year, it was cut down to just rupees 15,390 crore. More than 50%, like I said. Why? Because the government has crossed the threshold limit set for borrowing. For the state governments, the total expenditure can only exceed the total revenue of the state only up to a particular level. For this financial year, it's fixed at 3% of the GSDP or gross state domestic product. In books, Kerala has adhered to that, but the union government alleges that some off-budget borrowings has happened and thus Kerala has violated the limit. What's off-budget borrowings? It means borrowing and spending money outside the purview of the state budget. Though the money is spent for the needs of the state government will not be a party to the whole deal. Kerala has two such institutions. Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board or KIFB for infrastructure needs and Kerala Social Security Pension Limited to disburse pensions for the weaker sections of the society. The Kerala government claims that both organizations have their own means to repay the debt and will not affect the government's financial stability. The union government but won't budge. Okay, fine. But how do Delhi, the union government, consider their own off-budget borrowings? Yes, our union government also have such borrowings. Take the example of National Highway Authority. They borrow heavily from the market to fund its road projects. Nevertheless, it is not considered as part of the union government's debt. Not just a highway authority, all the borrowings of the central public sector institutions are off-budget borrowings, but never ever counted as the part of union government's debt. That's not over. What's happening to the taxes that's collected by the central government, which is supposed to be shared with the state governments? It's called the divisible pool and it's ensured by the constitution of the country. The taxes collected under this head is diminishing day by day. The union government is diverting it into cess and surcharges which need not be shared with the states. A clever way to take all the money. Take the example of fuel. All the increases that our government makes is not exactly increase in taxes. If you look into the details, you can see that it's an increase in various cess and surcharges. That means that money will entirely go to the union government's kitty. This shift is so huge that the share of taxes to states has decreased by 11%. Last year, from 41% to 30%. Keep in mind that 62% of the nation's expenditure is borne by the states. But what do they get in return? Very little. And that money is decreasing day by day. And the immediate danger Kerala is facing is that the welfare pensions to 60 lakh beneficiaries would be badly hit. Each person getting a meager pension of rupees 1,600 will be in a big trouble. Next is the state of Rajasthan. Another state ruled by the opposition, which is in the news for a very different reason. For the huge subsidies they have been providing for LPG and electricity. Just rupees 500 per cylinder for every family under poverty line. Isn't that impressive? But the BJP and especially the Prime Minister of the country consider it as freebies and a shortcut to earn people's votes. Rajasthan is going for elections very soon. On the expenditure side, Rajasthan has been spending not just for the subsidies. For the entire expenditure side, Rajasthan has been spending a huge proportion of its overall expenditure on social sector, like health and education as compared to the average of all others. Meanwhile, its capital expenditure, that means spending for infrastructure and all, is not very impressive. But on the subsidies front too, Rajasthan's expenditure has been higher than the average if you consider all the other Indian states together. The subsidy expenditure of the Rajasthan has risen, while if you take the average of all other Indian states, they have fallen compared to Rajasthan. However, an analysis of Rajasthan's finances, comparing it to other states and also its own history, shows that it's in a relatively strong position. Yes, after doing all this, the Rajasthan is in a very strong position, and its fiscal health has improved under the Ashok Gehlot government, the Congress government. Not only has Rajasthan's fiscal deficit, which means expenditure over total income, has fallen, and it has been falling faster than the average for all other states. And look at the revenue side. Rajasthan's receipts as a percentage of state's gross domestic product, which is GSDP, have been higher than the average of all states over the last few decades. Recently, that gap has widened. Notably, the state has become more financially independent. That means the money it earns without the help of central government have been higher than the average of all states and have both been rising recently. So what do all this mean? It means that the demand side push of the government to give more money into the hands of the people through subsidies and all has boosted the economy. The returns are coming as taxes, as economic growth, more jobs and everything, and the state is in a better financial position. I hope the neoliberal economists in Delhi and in some other parts of the world are listening. Now it's time to have a quick glance at other major headlines. A major data leak in the COVID portal has shocked the country. Every detail given by the people to the portal were readily available for sale in the Telegram group. All it needs for the data trove to unravel is the phone number of that person. The union government's reaction to the COVID data leak was denial, but the Minister of State Rajiv Chandrasekhar put the government in a spot. He argued that the data available now was part of a data leak that happened some years back, indirectly accepting that data leak did happen in the past. The union government had always denied any such data breach in the past when such news appeared. After bringing out a circular allowing banks to negotiate and settle with loan fraudsters, Reserve Bank of India has come out with a clarification. The Apex Bank argues that there is nothing new in the circular and that it was only quoting a provision already existing for 15 years. But the trade unions and opposition are not convinced. As the inquiry into Adani stocks are dragging, with investigating agencies extending the deadlines prescribed, Adani shares are surging ahead. Shares of Adani Enterprises, which suffered the major setback, has regained 2/3 of its value and is trading in upper circle. Citing drag from the property sector and household confidence, HSBC cuts down China's economic growth forecast for this year. The GDP growth prediction now stands at 5.3%. Earlier, it was 6.3%. Goldman Sachs has also cut down its forecast for the country. Well, that's all from us for now. Goodbye till we meet again.